Before I actually knew Christ, I grew up in a church. I went to church every Sunday with my dad, we did, and my mom. We did Bible studies, we did vacation Bible school. I was in church, but my heart wasn't in church. I was there because my parents wanted me to be there. So as I grew up, as I got to the teen years, it was harder for me to want to even go to church because I just felt like everything I was doing was wrong, but I wanted to be a teenager. So that was at a point where I didn't really know Christ. I knew of him. I knew what was right, what was wrong, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So at that point in life, outside looking in, you would think I was happy, living my best life. I had friends, I had a relationship at the time. On the surface, I was happy, but my life was kind of depressing. It was miserable. I would go home sometimes and I'm sad, I'm crying for reasons that I don't know why. I just felt kind of empty in a sense. I guess I was still searching for something that I didn't know. I just was searching. But yeah, my life was very sad. Oh, at home. Behind closed doors, my life was empty and depressing. My life change was actually after having my son. I went through a lot emotionally during the time. During my pregnancy, after my pregnancy, I was just going through a lot. It got to a point where I tried to take control over the situation. I tried to fix it in a sense on my own. And I just came to a place where I couldn't. And I was very broken, didn't know what else to do, didn't know how to move forward. So there was a day, don't remember the exact date, but there was a day I was alone. My son was sleeping, and I just started to talk to God. I just cried and I just fell down on my knees to him, really. And I just gave it all over to him. I couldn't do it anymore on my own. My choices in life that obviously were not led with God in the center brought me to a place, a very bad place where I was broken. So I turned it all over to God. And in that moment, it was a relief in that moment after all the tears, just breaking down that day and really just saying like, I give up. Um, I need you. And I gave it all over to God, and it was like an instant relief from me. Like a weight was lifted off my shoulder. I didn't know what the future holds. Still don't know what the future holds, but I'm okay with whatever it holds because I know that God has a purpose for everything I went through. In a sense, it was like I needed to be broken to find him, and I could be more grateful for it. So, after coming to this church and being in this church, I'll be honest, when I first started coming, I was just doing it to make his grandparents happy. I wanted them to like me. So, and I didn't have anything against church. Like I said, I grew up in a church, but it just wasn't something that I was doing anymore. But after being in this church, it opened my eyes and my heart to a lot of things. It made me want to read my Bible. It made me want to know the story so that when I do come to church on Sundays or Bible studies, I know what's going on because there's a lot of times where there's references being made and I'm just kind of like, huh? What are you talking about? So, and just even like the welcomeness of the church. I was pregnant. You guys didn't know me, but everyone was so nice. Everyone was so welcoming. And it made me realize that I wasn't defined by my sins versus how it was growing up, which is kind of why I did stray. It was like if I can't do anything right, then what's the point? But being here, hearing the word, hearing others' testimonies, making the relationships I've made, it just makes me realize that my sins don't define me, and God is not condemning me for sins that I'm repentful of, not living in them, but mistakes that I make. He has grace for me. As I get baptized, moving forward, I am going to continue to grow closer to God, continue to grow in my faith. I want to be an example to my son, a godly example to him. I want to be a godly woman, that way when he gets older, he can seek a godly woman and he knows what to look for. I want to step into my purpose with God. I want God to use me and put me where I'm meant to be, where I was always meant to be. I'm ready for him to use me. So there's been a few things that have helped me during my journey and continues to help me in my walk with Christ. Elba and Manny, for one, they are such lights to me. I come to them a lot when I need godly advice, regular advice. They're not my grandparents, but they're my grandparents. So they welcome me in ways that I couldn't imagine. And I also have a Bible verse that I like to read and remember. It helps me to stay focused and to keep my trust in God. So the Bible verse is actually Psalms 46, verse 10. He says, "Be still and know that I am God." And every time I read it, it just brings me peace, and knowing that no matter what happens, whether it's not on my time, whether it's not what I thought would happen, God is in control. And it helps me to just trust in God. And just being in this church has given me a family, a community in Christ that I never really had. And I'm very grateful.
We baptize you today in the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Come now, fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above.